It was about 11:30 one night. I was kind of tired. I'd been traveling for several hours. I checked in, walked over to the elevator, was awaiting the arrival of the elevator, and a lady also traveling checked in and came over. And she was loaded down with about 4 bags. Well, she also looked tired, and I gently spoke to her, and she almost didn't speak back, but she did acknowledge that I was in existence. And then as we waited for the elevator, suddenly it arose from the basement. A gung-ho, highly motivated, very enthusiastic young bellman stepped out of the elevator, saw the lady's bags. He quickly grabbed them, put them in the elevator, and then looked around and looked up at me. And when he saw my face, he said, "Zig Ziglar, man alive, am I glad to see you. Boy, you're the greatest in the whole world. You're my hero, man. Let me help you there with your bag." I mean, I have never in my lifetime been greeted with such enthusiasm. And when he got in and the elevator door was closed, you know, the lady very coolly asked, said, "What on earth do you do?" And the bellman delayed about 1/10 of a second, said, "He writes books and makes speeches. He is the greatest in the whole world. I mean, he changed my life. I mean, he is the greatest. He is the best." I'll tell you, I've never experienced anything like it. The lady very coolly then looked at me and said, "And to what do you owe your remarkable success?" There was another delay of about 1/10 of a second, and he said, "The redhead." Now, I'm convinced that there are a lot of men, if they would be honest, would say the redhead, or the equivalent of my redhead to them, has made a lot of difference. I believe there are a lot of women, if they would be honest, would say my husband has made a big difference in my life and in my career. What we want to do is put the credit and the responsibility both where they belong. Now, when I speak in the business world, I often use phrases like, if you want to be a winner that you were born to be, you got to plan to win, you got to prepare to win, and you got to expect to win. When I address athletic teams, I point out, for example, that in the National Football League, in the last 2 minutes of the half and the last 2 minutes of the game, 4 minutes of playing time out of the 60, they score in the National Football League a little over 20% of all of the points. Now, that's scoring 3 times as fast as they do any other time. And the reason they do that is because they plan to score, they prepare to score, and they expect to score. So in this series, I'm simply going to take a page from that same presentation and say, if you want your marriage to be the winner that it is supposed to be, then you've got to plan for that marriage to win. You've got to prepare for that marriage to win. And if you plan and if you prepare, then you can fully expect it to be the winner you hoped it was going to be when you said, "I do." You remember that beautiful day. I'll put a lot of emphasis on the fact that it's the little things that will make a difference in your marriage. You know, fellas, you call your wife a kitten, she'll love you. Call her a cat, you got an altogether different situation. Tell her she's a vision, you score all kind of points. Call her a sight, and you're in trouble. It is one thing to tell your wife she looks like the first day of spring. It's something else to tell her that she looks like the last day of a long, hard winter. It's the little things that make a big difference. And it's the little things in the relationship that will make a big difference. For example, my daughter does a little something which I think is really neat, the way she does her husband. When she's pressing his handkerchief, she always puts a little of her perfume on it. Then during the day, you know, he occasionally has little allergy problems or a cold. So when he gets that handkerchief out, you think he's thinking about his cold, or does he suddenly start thinking about that beautiful lady he's got back home? It's the little things that make a big difference. When he comes in the evening, she's been wrestling with the children all day. First thing he does is gives their youngest one, who's a special child, he takes her and gives her that bath. That's a little thing he does. Wonderful for husband, wonderful for wife, more wonderful for the child. The little things do make a difference. Yes, I'm optimistic, and I want to share with you the difference between positive thinking and positive believing as it relates to this.